Hey, what's going on YouTube? Stygian here. In today's video, I'm going to be bringing you a brand new high-end elite DPS build that does insane amounts of damage with an AR. To go ahead and get started with the build, I'm going to be showing y'all some of the weapons and gear pieces that I like to use. To start off, I like to use the P416 as, in my opinion, it has the most amount of sustain and burst damage currently in the game, with a mod where I'm able to get about 61 bullets in a magazine, as well as some of my mods give me bonuses to elites, as well as even more bonuses to my crit chance, which helps me hit the soft cap of 60% crit chance, where I'm basically pretty much critting every other hit, which is really nice. The second weapon I like to use is the Merciless. It's an exotic. Basically, I only really use this for the holstered perk, which basically gives me a 5% chance to deal 20% damage as explosive damage every time I shoot. Now, for my 3-piece gear set that I like to run currently is the Wyvern gear set, as it's going to give me more damage to my crit hit and even more crit hit chance. And as well as some of the modifiers that I like to use, or at least roll on my gear, are going to be critical hit chance, possibly weapon damage, critical hit damage. If you can roll AR damage, it's very good, and also headshot damage, and even damage to elites. And even Berserk on a chest piece is very good, as it basically gives you more weapon damage for every 10% of your armor that gets depleted. So in some cases you could possibly get up to like 150% damage, which is pretty nuts. Another talent I like to use is called Clutch, which basically gives me kind of a self-sustaining build where I am able to regen my armor in a mid fight, where I'm only genning about 2% armor, which is okay, not that bad, but it definitely helps in some cases. Another talent we will be using primarily is going to be called hard hitting. We want to try to roll hard hitting on most of our gear because it gives us a 15% flat bonus damage to elites, which is very useful. The main specialization that I will be using is going to be sharpshooter, as we benefit from 3 main perks. One perk being 25% increased headshot damage, which is going to help us out, as well as 30% increased reload speed, which is very nice in certain situations, and even 30% weapon stability, which is also really, really good. Now this is where we get into the stat page, guys. Basically, I'm going to be showcasing all my stats. Some of the main stats you want to be focusing are going to be called hard hitting, which is going to give us a flat 15% damage to elites, as well as clutch and even berserk. So Berserk gives a 10% weapon damage increase for every 10% armor depleted, which is nuts in PvE. But basically, with all my modifiers active, as well as the mods on my weapon and even my gear, I have a 56% critical hit chance, 53% critical hit damage, 83% headshot damage. I get the bonus 30% reload speed off of the specialization, and I even have some bonus damage to AR build, which is always going to help, and even a flat 10.5% bonus damage to all weapons. And I have a total of a 97% damage to elites. Almost 100%, which is crazy in my opinion for damage, even going into World Tier 5. I'll be showcasing some damage to elite enemies in the shooting range, but I want y'all to keep in mind that these damages are at different ranges, so I will be roughly averaging between about 45,000 damage and roughly 80,000 damage, simply as base damage. This doesn't even take into effect the Berserk talent, which increases my weapon damage by 10% per 10% armor depleted, which is very key when fighting elites with this build, as you want to be taking damage to increase your damage that you're doing to that elite, even with headshots. So sometimes, you know, I'll be critting up to 120k, 150k, just it's an insane damage that has so much sustain. Anyways, guys, I hope you guys enjoy the rest of the gameplay that I've provided for y'all. It's basically just me, you know, doing some bounties, killing some elite enemies, showcasing the damage, and as well as even the Berserk talent being showcased, and basically how OP it is. Honestly, it's one of the best talents in the game. I want to thank y'all again for all the recent channel support. We just recently broke over 300 subscribers, and honestly I couldn't be more happy with how the channel is growing and the route that I'm deciding to take it. You know, I'm really enjoying the Division 2. I cannot wait to put out more content that's going to be based around, you know, raid secrets, the raid, you know, gearing up for World Tier 5, pushing out builds with the new gear sets that we're getting. We're getting 3 brand new gear sets with the release of World Tier 5 on April the 5th. You know, I just want to thank y'all guys. I really appreciate it, and I can't wait to see y'all next time. Be sure to like and subscribe and comment in the comment section below if you have any suggestions or anything, and be sure to stay tuned for my next Division 2 video, which is going to be a video built around how to get prepared for the release of World Tier 5. Anyways guys, peace out.
Spotted, Sheriff. That's your target.
Getting cooked over here.
You got the target. That's the target, Agent. Target down. Good job. You got the target. Nice. Looks like target neutralized. Good work.
Don't let them find cover!